Hey, it's Allison with Shining Through the Storm again. It's been a while since I posted. I had to do a lot of reflecting on what was being talked about. Some of it was a little rough, as you could tell from the last one. Kind of opened up a lot of sore spots, but that happens. So this last week that went by after the first week of chemo, not bad, minimal side effects. On Wednesday, I marked it in my calendar that I went and did a Walmart grocery pickup by myself, and I was so excited. Yay me! Um, Mini victory for sure. And then Friday, I had to go to the doctor for my blood draw. Everything was good for that, and then I got my first Keytruda injection, which was my immunotherapy. Nothing was said at this time, but my chemo was supposed to be every 2 weeks. But little did I know, insurance did not approve every 2 weeks. So we were going to do every 3 weeks. More will come about that later. Advocate for yourselves. Do it. So yeah, I did my labs, did my Keytruda, went home, had a normal weekend. By around, I believe it was day 10, my hair started hurting so bad. It felt like being in a tight ponytail all day. Like the migraine you get from having a tight bun. It was horrible. Hi, Biffy. My hair follicles just ached and it hurt. Nothing was coming out yet. It tingled and it hurt. Not painful, but it ached. And then the next day, it started coming out. Not in clumps, not all of it, just a little bit here and there. It was really weird and sporadic. I started using my chemo hats to put over my head to keep the hair there and kind of like a tad bit of pressure to help relieve the pressure from the achiness. It kind of felt like maybe just having that there was the reason. So it made it a little bit more bearable, if that makes sense. So we did that. I did that. I can't remember what day it was. Maybe it was Sunday or Monday, but it wasn't too long after that. I couldn't take it anymore. The hair was coming out more, and I was a mess. My emotions had me a mess, and the hair was coming out. And some days it was more painful, but it was still more considered an ache. It wasn't hurting and sharp, just a painful ache. So I asked my ex to shave my head. So we used the buzzers and we shaved it down to like, I don't know the numbers. It was super short. I did it super short. That way there was no weight. Because it felt like it was the weight. And I figured doing that, you wouldn't feel it. There was like no tension, no surface space. It felt better. And when it fell out, it wasn't falling out in long strands. Which sucked. So after my head was shaved, I got in the shower. My ex cleaned up the bathroom for me so I didn't have to see it and deal with it. I did a lot of crying. Thank you, baby. I did so much crying that night. I remember calling my best friend that lived in Tucson and just bawling and crying. I didn't know what I was gonna do. in hindsight, it was just hair. I get that. And now, like, I'm choosing the short hair. Like, it's my thing now. But at the time, it just felt so big that this was the first thing that was going to start showing that I was sick. No one wants to look like the cancer patient. No one wants to look sick. No one wants the sympathy. And I felt like that's what it was. It made it that much more real. Every time something new like that happened, it almost felt like a new low. So when something new did happen, I was probably a little extra emotional. Yeah. But it was scary. Yeah, that was the following weekish after. I didn't really have any side effects that following week. I didn't note anything extra around, and then, so I'm assuming that week just went by, nothing major. I did really good at keeping track of my symptoms and what kind of went on. And then I went in for my second chemo. During this, I found out my insurance was only, or they were not going to cover the Neulasta injection, which was the white blood cell count injector, auto injector that they put on the back of your arm. It injects 24 hours after the chemo, or after it's put on, and they put it on after chemo's done. My insurance denied it. I told my doctor, okay, cool. I have a secondary insurance. They will pay for it. Because my primary insurance was really good. Secondary did not have very much. I had really good deductible, really good insurance. So that wasn't an issue. So I'm like, you know what? They'll pay for it. I want my 2 weeks. That's what was recommended for my case. It will happen. We're not doing this. So after that, my chemo was put back to the 2 weeks like originally planned. So I didn't have that white blood cell count injection for that first one. But after the second one, I did get that put on. It injected 24 hours after. It was so weird. Yeah. But that was it. That was the next 2 weeks of what happened. A lot of new stuff. A lot of uncertainty, scary.